Hello, my name is John Roberts. Welcome to my channel. I'm making this channel out of my dedication to the game Axis and Allies, and this video series will concentrate on the 1942 online game that was developed by Beamdog. I feel that this version of the game has really been the first version to take Axis and Allies out of the vacuum, and there is a community growing around this game, and I wanted to create a channel that helped that community to grow and have discussion about strategy and about the game itself, and hopefully we can all work our way up to higher rankings. I myself play at a gold level, so I'm not an expert or a master at this game. I'm going to be showcasing my strategies, and I'm going to hope to have some discussion about strategies, about what your strategies are, what you would do different, what you would do the same. And while you're commenting, of course, I'm going to ask you to like, subscribe, share, and do all the things that will help this channel to grow. So with all that being said, we're going to start off with a few of my placement matches for Season 8. So thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoy. Okay, Soviet Union Round 1. My strategy with Soviet Union is to hold Moscow. I know that sounds pretty fundamental, and that's because it is. Mainly just producing as many land units as possible while still producing some attacking units. You don't want the Germans or the Japanese to be able to just stack up next to you. You're going to want a little bit of firepower to push them back. You want to be able to maneuver your troops in a way that make it as difficult as possible for your opponents, and you're going to want to make clever trades. But that being said, on Soviet Union's first round, I like to purchase 2 tanks. It goes against what I just said about as many land units as possible. But for Soviet round 1, I go with the standard 2 tanks, 4 infantry. And I always go with the standard 12 in West Russia and 9 in Ukraine. Okay, when you can see there's 12 and 9, you know it's correct, you can continue. May the dice gods be with us. So the dice gods did go in our favor. We have 3 tanks remaining in Ukraine, 7, 8, 9, 10 remaining in West Russia. So those are pretty decent outcomes. So Soviet Union non-coms for round 1 are pretty standard as well. These 2 fighters will defend Caucasus. This infantry moved to Xinjiang, help defend the US fighter. This infantry in Novosibirsk into Russia. Move all of these infantry west. All but one. All but one. There's very little opposition here on the land against the Japanese, and I like to leave a couple of little targets, kind of force the Japanese to spread out a little bit. The submarine helps defend C's on 7. So we go to defense profiles. I have it set on my main defense profile, which is set up so that lone defenders submerge. But with the fleet, they will remain and defend, which is what we want. This anti-aircraft gun, I'm actually going to put in Ukraine. Make it more difficult to take these 3 tanks, which are now all but lost. And this anti-aircraft gun comes in to help defend Caucasus against a possible assault. I think this one's pretty safe. I think it's more likely he would attack Caucasus, but perhaps less likely with the anti-aircraft gun. And the best piece of advice I could give, if I can give any advice at all, because I never claim to be a master at this game, I'm just really showcasing my strategy, hoping that we can get some comments going about what your strategies are and why you don't like my strategy or why you do. That being said, I can give you one piece of valuable advice, and that is always review before you hit this button here, the end phase button. When you do press this button, of course you get this fail-safe window, but just double and triple check that you are actually prepared to move on. Mobilize units. 2 tanks in Russia help put pressure on Karelia. They also come in handy for defense, especially in the mid-game, late game. 4 infantry to defend the Caucasus. And that looks good. Let's see what Germany has in store for us. Okay, UK round 1. UK has a couple of priorities. Hold India and establish a fleet in the Atlantic. If I don't think I can establish a fleet and make landings in Europe by, let's say, round 3, that might be a reason to go KJF, where I devote, I'd say, about 70% of my combined Allied resources towards taking Tokyo. Looking at this situation, I'm still thinking KGF, or something like 80% of my combined Allied resources going for Berlin. So I'm thinking I'm going to purchase typical aircraft carrier destroyer and 3 infantry for my UK round 1. That looks good. So I definitely want to get this submarines and cruiser up here. We could do that with this destroyer, this cruiser, bomber, 1 fighter. Use 1 fighter here to get this transport. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to ignore the Mediterranean for now. It's more important right now to get this this little contingent out of here so that I can establish a fleet. Hopefully I can deal with this in the future. And I think I'm going to go for this little Borneo maneuver in this game. I don't always do this in my games, but in this game I'm feeling like this player might be a little unpredictable. So these 2 infantry and the cruiser, and we'll use this fighter and essentially sacrifice the aircraft carrier to get this transport, and you get the destroyer as a bonus. Over here I'm probably going to just end up holding this. It wouldn't work out very well if I tried to go after Libya, especially since he landed this fighter here. Double, triple check. May the dice gods be with us. So yeah, the Dice Gods absolutely abandoned us in the Sea Zone 7. We did not get one hit in all the rounds there. Not one single hit. And we only have this one bomber remaining. That is extremely unfortunate. I'm going to land this bomber over here. It's likely now that, looking at this situation, I'm going to probably make the decision to go after Japan rather than Germany. Of course, we still have to see what Japan has in store for us, but this was pretty pathetic, to say the least. But now I have this aircraft carrier and destroyer. I don't exactly know what I'm going to do with them. Very unfortunate. But the Dice Gods have spoken. Land a UK fighter here in Xinjiang, really just because there's nowhere else to land it. I don't need it here at this point. I'd rather get it here or something, but it does not reach. One unit into India, this fighter into Persia, and this tank into Persia. From Persia they can hit Burma and Egypt, so I like them there. Move out the artillery. There's no reason to have him there to just die senselessly. This infantry is here to block this tank from blitzing. This fighter, I'm going to land him in England for now. Probably not going to use, I'm probably going to put the aircraft carrier and destroyer here anywhere. I don't really have anywhere else to put them. I'm not going to land anything on them, just in case. Yeah, he can come with 3 fighters, and he has the cruiser. Run away. Get the transport out of range here. Put the tank here. The transport can pick it up or something. Send him here. Perhaps he can meet up with the transport at some point. Perhaps not. We'll see. Cruiser. Move over. Transport. Pick up 1 infantry from Australia. 1 from New Zealand. Sub. Might as well keep these infantry together. And as always, double and triple check. Looks good. Mobilize units, unfortunately. This is the situation here. Not ideal. Not ideal, to say the least. 3 infantry in India. Let's see what Japan has in store for us. Okay, USA round 1. Let's see what Japan did. Three transports and 3 infantry. It's pretty standard. He lost a fighter taking that aircraft carrier. That was a little bit of luck. Yunnan, Anhui, and Buryatia all taken without losses. He did get the transport and cruiser, but he did not take back Borneo. So the United Kingdom still controls that. And he attacked Sea Zone 41 with a submarine, and we both lost the submarine. Non-combat, 1 infantry, 4 fighters, and 1 bomber to Thailand. And 1 fighter to Sea Zone 61. His transports in Sea Zone 60, defended by a battleship and a destroyer. And put the 3 infantry on Japan. So this is all pretty standard, and considering what I'm looking at here, I think I'm going to have to go for Japan, especially since he didn't do a typical Pearl Harbor move. He just left this fleet alone. I just feel like it'll take, 4 or 5 turns before I could be anything significant in the Atlantic and make landings in Europe. So that being said, I'm going to go after Japan. I'm going to need a fleet that is superior to theirs. So he's got 2 battleships. So let's talk a little bit about fleets. The most efficient naval unit you can purchase in attack would be the submarine, and probably in defense the destroyer. But the interesting thing about battleships is that they have a virtual efficiency to them. What I mean is that they theoretically could have an unlimited number of hit points since they absorb 1 hit in each subsequent battle. So for that reason, I like to keep an eye on how many battleships my opponent has. He has 2, I have at least 1. That should be okay. He also has 2 aircraft carriers, which means he has the potential of having 4 fighters out here by the time these fleets have a chance to engage with each other. So I'm going to want to keep, at least 1 full aircraft carrier out here. But that being said, the United States starts with 4 fighters. So purchasing 1 aircraft carrier would probably be very efficient here. So I'm going to do that. And then we can buy some subs and a destroyer. Save 2 IPCs. So as far as combat move, the United States usually doesn't have too much going on. I'm going to definitely take this transport, these 2 infantry, and send them down to Solomon. Solomon's not worth anything, but it's a good place to have a landing point for bombers or fighters or whatever, and it eliminates a landing point for Japan. This fighter can make it. This fighter can make it. And we can bring this battleship as well. Now I think I'm going to take a little bit of a risk over here, and I'm going to attempt to see if I could get rid of this cruiser with this US bomber. Chances say that I will. Chances also say that I will lose the bomber, or at least I have a very good chance of losing the bomber. But I want to make it as easy on the United Kingdom as possible to establish some sort of a fleet by round 4. Round 4, I would hope by. We can always hope. We can always hope. So I'm not seeing anything else that we want to do with the United States. Just, of course, double and triple check. And let's see, implausible. Well, we know we can't get the subs, but we're hoping to get the cruiser. May the dice gods be with us. So the dice gods just do not want us touching Sea Zone 7. So non-combat for the United States. Just want to get our fleet moved forward. Whatever can get here. We want there. I don't know what. Put the 2 fighters out in Sea Zone 56. Transport this artillery and 1 of these infantry. Go down to Sea Zone 19 and drop off in Mexico. Advance the cruiser. I'm gonna move my anti-aircraft gun here. Move that infantry over. Tank. Infantry. Don't forget the infantry up in Alaska. The 2 infantry in Xiankang. And this fighter I like to put in Persia. And as always, we do our double and our triple checking before we advance. Mobilize units. Aircraft carrier, destroyer, and 3 submarines. Okay, let's send it over to Soviet Union. Okay, Soviet Union, round 2, we're going to purchase 8 infantry and 1 artillery. That's 9 land units, since that's what we have enough to purchase. We're going to need as many land units as possible to hold back the Germans, considering this is a KJF. We're going to need all the help we can get. So I think I'm going to attempt to take Ukraine and Belarusia and kind of just ignore Karelia for now. So let's see. 4 and 4 and artillery and fighters. 6 on 4 in each. Favorable. Go with 1 more infantry. That should be fine. We will take Kwangtung with this infantry that's in Xinjiang just to be annoying. This is all gonna move away, run away. Okay, may the dice gods be with us. Okay, so those both worked out okay. Could have been left with 1 more unit in Belarusia, but not that big a deal. They were both successful. Land the fighters in Ukraine. Put the tanks in Ukraine. Take 1 of these infantry out. Put him in Ukraine. 1 infantry. I'm going to put him in Kazakh. Here, use this 1 infantry to block these 3 infantry. Just bring them all over. They're useless over here. We double and triple check, as always. Mobilize our units. Artillery and 3 infantry in Ukraine, and all the rest in Russia. Okay, let's see what Germany has in store for us. Okay, UK round 2. Let's take a look at what Germany did. 2 more submarines, 2 tanks, 3 infantry, 2 artillery. Took Ukraine. Won that. He actually lost something in C-Zone 7. That his first hit I got against him in this game in C-Zone 7. Not very useful though. Took Belarusia back. Went into Archangel. And Egypt. See where he positions himself. He left a fighter here in Karelia. I have to think about this with the Russians. Do I want to sacrifice these 3 tanks to get 1 more of his fighters? This is UK turn, so we'll consider that later. Landed 3 fighters in Northwest Europe. units into Poland. There's a fighter there. Move those 2 infantry into Finland. Mobilize these units. Put 2 tanks in Karelia, the 2 subs. Handful of infantry. Again, he's not buying a lot of land units. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So, I'm very happy to keep him buying submarines, but I don't know if I want to purchase just 1 destroyer or something. There's not really much I could do here. Not really much. Maybe I just buy fighters for now. Situation in India. He has these 3 transports he bought. Okay, so how about 2 tanks and 1 infantry for India? And then I have enough for 2 fighters. Do I want to buy 2 fighters? Let's do it. Let's do 2 fighters. So I think I'm going to try to get to this battleship. Perhaps I'll have better luck in Sea Zone 16 than in Sea Zone 7. I'm going to have to land some aircraft in Caucasus. By the way, I realized in last segment I kept calling this Ukraine, and I kept calling this Xinjiang, so I apologize for that. It's just a slip of the tongue. 3 there. I could go 3 on 3 here. I don't know, I don't really want to do that. Doesn't really make much sense. Could just hold it for now. This transport will probably bring this tank down into Africa. And we have 1 fighter here. I don't really see much use for it. I could go for the cruiser again. I think I'm going to hold off till I have better numbers. So that honestly looks like United Kingdom's only combat move. Of course, we double and triple check, just to be sure. May the dice gods be with us. Okay, it was costly, but we got the battleship, so no more transport, at least for now. Let's put this tank here. Put this infantry here. I'm gonna want to take this transport, this tank, send it down here. French West Africa. Perhaps we can come back. Gives us the option. Pick up that infantry, in a later turn. And we have this here as well. Perhaps this cruiser can come up and help us get something going against this. See how everything turns out. We double and triple check. Yeah, UK round 2, pretty uneventful. Two tanks and 1 infantry in India. I could put a fighter. Put 2 fighters in England. I could put a fighter in India, but then I'd have to put an infantry in England, and that would not be very efficient, since I have no transports and no prospects of any transports anytime soon. Okay. And let's see what Germany has in store for us. Okay, USA round 2. Let's see what the Japanese did. Purchase 7 infantry and 1 destroyer. Damaged industrial complex in Moscow. Took some free land. Took back Kwangtung and Burma. And they balled up their fleet here in C-Zone 61. Landed a fighter in the Philippines, which almost makes me tempted trying to go after the Philippines, but it would be risky. It would be a little risky. I probably won't do that. And place their units out of their one industrial complex. So United States, we're going for Japan. So I definitely want a transport. And let's see what happens if we buy a fighter and some submarines. I want a destroyer also. So we'll save 5 IPCs, that's fine. Okay, combat. So we want to make some sort of advance. The United Kingdom already has Borneo. So to take the Philippines, I cannot hold C-Zone 58. So I'd have to assume anything I leave in C-Zone 58 would be lost. I could bring these 2 infantry, I can bring these 2 fighters, I could bring this battleship. I don't want to leave the battleship here. And without the battleship, it's about a 65%. It's not good odds. So I'm probably going to go for New Guinea. And I'll have to use a destroyer to block him from entering C-Zone 59 with his... So transport, infantry, New Guinea, fighters, battleship. Looks good. Here, I'm going to take these 2 infantry and I'm going to attack Xinjiang, because this is actually Xinjiang, not this, which is Sichuan. And I double and triple check. Okay, may the dice gods be with us. Okay, those both worked out seamlessly. So we're gonna fleet up down here. We need this destroyer to block. He has no other route to get to C-Zone 49, at least not with his naval units. These 4 fighters can make it, but I'd be happy to hold up a defense against just his fighters. That would be fine with me. Advance this contingent. Load up one of these transports, send it here, this other transport send this way. Bring more infantry for future transport. I like to get these anti-aircraft guns here just to preemptively be prepared. The off chance that the Germans get some sort of transport and can start threatening the East Coast here. I actually forgot to move this destroyer last round. So I'll do that this round. Even with my double and triple check, I missed that 1 destroyer. Mistakes, mistakes, mistakes. So double, triple check. Alright, let's mobilize our units. 1 fighter, destroyer, transport, 2 submarines, and let's send it over to Soviet Union. Okay, so we're going to end this video right here for now. Please like, subscribe, share, anything you can to support the channel. Please join us for part 2, where we will be beginning with Soviet Union round 3. And as always, I want to thank you for watching.